Gentlemen, let me ask you something right up front. Have you ever felt like you're slowly losing pieces of yourself? You wake up in the morning and sure you're still you, but the strength, the energy, and the confidence you use to carry around, it feels like they've slipped through your fingers. Maybe you've already tried to fix it. You've bought the supplements, you've followed the diets, you've put in the workouts. Yet despite all that effort, something still feels off. You're not bouncing back the way you used to. You feel weaker, slower, and maybe even less interested in the parts of life that once gave you joy. If you're nodding your head right now, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. In fact, hundreds of men I've sat across from in my practice over the years have told me the same thing. And here's the good news, this doesn't have to be the end of the story. Getting older doesn't have to mean fading away. It doesn't have to mean giving up the things that make you feel like a man. In fact, at 65, 70, even 75 and beyond, your body still has an incredible ability to repair, to rebuild, and to get stronger. All it needs is the right kind of support, the reset button I'll be sharing with you today. Now, before I introduce you to that reset button, let's be brutally honest about what happens to men after 65. Because unless we face the problem head on, we can't fix it. One of the biggest changes that sneaks up on us is the loss of muscle mass. There's even a medical word for it, sarcopenia. It sounds technical, but you've probably already felt it. Maybe you notice it when you're walking up a flight of stairs and you get winded sooner than you used to. Maybe it's when you go to pick up something a little heavy and your hands shake. Or maybe it's just trying to get up from a chair and it takes more effort than you ever imagined. This isn't just about looking smaller in the mirror. When your muscles weaken, everything gets harder. Everyday tasks that used to be automatic, like carrying groceries, working in the yard, or keeping up with your grandkids, suddenly feel like a workout. That loss of strength doesn't just steal from your body, it steals from your independence and your sense of self. And it doesn't stop with muscle. Energy begins to dip too. Activities that once gave you joy now feel like a burden. Maybe you used to enjoy long walks in the park, tending to your garden, or tinkering in the garage. But now even those small things leave you drained. It's not just physical either, it eats away at your spirit. When your body doesn't keep up, your confidence takes a hit. You start second-guessing yourself, wondering if you're still capable of living the way you want. Then there's the most private struggle, the one many men hesitate to admit out loud. I'm talking about intimacy. As testosterone naturally declines and as blood flow slows down, a lot of men find themselves less interested or less able in that part of life. It's a quiet pain, but it's real. It chips away at your sense of masculinity, and too many men suffer in silence because they think it's just part of getting old. I'll tell you something, I've had men sit in my office, shoulders slumped with that look of quiet surrender in their eyes. They'll tell me about how they've tried everything, and nothing seems to bring back the man they used to be. One of them, a 68-year-old gentleman, said something, "I'll never forget, Doc. I'm not afraid of getting old. I'm afraid of waking up every morning weaker than I was yesterday." That hit me hard because it's not just about the body wearing down, it's about losing little pieces of your identity day after day. But here's what I always tell them, this is not your fault. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you didn't try hard enough. The truth is, after 65, the body simply doesn't produce or process protein the way it used to. The natural pathways for building and repairing muscle slow down. Hormones dip. Recovery takes longer. Even if you're eating well and exercising, your body can't keep up without the right kind of targeted support. Think of it like this. Your body is a construction site. During the day, you're breaking things down, using energy, stressing your muscles, burning fuel. At night, when you go to sleep, the repair crew shows up. But if they don't have the bricks, the cement, the raw materials they need, they can't build anything. They'll work with whatever scraps are lying around, but the structure will stay weak. And that's exactly what happens when older men go to bed without giving their bodies the right nutrition to fuel the repair process. That's why so many men feel stuck. They're doing all the right things. They're going to the gym. They're taking their vitamins. They're eating balanced meals. But because they're missing the single most important window for recovery, those precious hours of deep sleep, they don't see results. They wake up just as tired, just as sore, and just as discouraged as before. And that's when frustration sets in. That's when men start thinking, maybe this is just what getting old feels like. But let me tell you right now, it doesn't have to be. Getting older is natural. Losing yourself is not. Gentlemen, what I want you to hear loud and clear is this: even after 65, your body is still capable of change. It's still capable of building muscle, restoring energy, and reigniting confidence. You just need to stop fighting against your biology and start working with it. And that's where my reset button comes in. So let's talk about the reset button. I call it that because for so many of the men I've worked with, it feels exactly like pushing restart on their bodies. It's simple, it's natural, and it works with your biology instead of against it. And here's the kicker: it doesn't involve another pill, it doesn't involve some fad diet, and it doesn't require hours in the gym. It's something you can do in your own kitchen in just a couple of minutes right before you go to bed. I'm talking about what I call the nighttime reset shake. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, great, another powdered drink, let me stop you. This isn't one of those overhyped, overpriced tubs of mystery powder you see on late-night TV or at the health store. This is a carefully chosen combination of ingredients that I've personally recommended to hundreds of men, and the results speak for themselves. Here's why it works. The body does its most important repair work while you sleep. During deep sleep, your body is rebuilding muscle fibers, balancing hormones, and repairing blood vessel linings. Your system is already wired to heal itself, but as we age, it struggles to keep up because it's missing the raw materials. The nighttime reset shake provides those materials timed perfectly to align with your body's natural repair cycle. So what's in this shake? Just 3 powerhouse ingredients. Number 1, whey protein. This is the base of the shake. Whey protein is fast-absorbing, rich in essential amino acids and critical for muscle repair. After age 65, your body simply doesn't process protein as efficiently as it used to. You could eat a steak or a chicken breast, but by the time your body breaks it down and absorbs it, the window for repair during sleep is closing. Whey protein solves that problem. It's broken down quickly, so your muscles have exactly what they need right when they need it. Think of whey as the foundation of a house. Without it, you've got nothing to build on. It supplies the amino acids, the building blocks, that literally patch and rebuild muscle tissue. And when taken before bed, it's like giving your muscles a direct delivery of construction material at the exact moment the repair crew clocks in. Number 2, collagen peptides. Now, a lot of men think collagen is just for women who want to keep their skin smooth. Wrong. Collagen is one of the most important proteins in the body. It makes up your connective tissues, your joints, your tendons, your ligaments. It lines your blood vessels. It supports your skin. It's everywhere. But here's the problem. Collagen production falls off a cliff as we age. That's why joints ache, skin sags, and blood vessels lose elasticity. By adding collagen peptides to your shake, you're not just supporting your skin, you're helping your entire infrastructure. Stronger joints mean you can move without pain. Healthier blood vessels mean better circulation, which impacts everything from heart health to intimacy. Collagen is like the glue that holds your body together, and most men over 65 aren't getting nearly enough of it. Number 3, leucine. This one's a game changer. Leucine is an amino acid, but it's not just any amino acid. It acts like a switch. Think of it as the light switch that turns on muscle-building pathways in your body. Even if you're older, even if your body isn't naturally producing muscle the way it used to, leucine flips the switch back on. It tells your body, hey, it's time to build. Without leucine, your body might have the materials, but the construction crew won't show up. With leucine, the crew is not only there, they're fired up and ready to work. Now, when you put all 3 of these together, whey protein, collagen peptides, and leucine, you get what I believe is the most complete nighttime support system for older men. It's not about stuffing your body with more supplements during the day. It's about giving your body exactly what it needs at exactly the right time. Let me give you a mental picture. Imagine your body is like a classic car. During the day you're driving, it putting miles on it, wearing it down. At night you pull into the garage. That's when the mechanic shows up to tune the engine, patch the tires, and top off the fluids. But if there are no parts in the garage, no oil, no spark plugs, no rubber, the mechanic can't do much. The nighttime reset shake is like stocking the garage with the exact parts your body needs before the mechanic arrives. That way, while you sleep, the real work gets done. And the best part, this isn't complicated. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need to spend a fortune. Here's the recipe I've given to countless men. 1 scoop of whey protein, Isolate about 25 grams of protein. 1 scoop of collagen peptides, about 10 grams. 3 grams of leucine powder measured carefully. Mix it all with about 8 ounces of unsweetened almond milk. Add a pinch of cinnamon for flavor if you like. That's it. You blend it up, drink it before bed, and let your body handle the rest while you sleep. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't a miracle cure. You're not going to wake up the next morning looking like you're 30 again. But what you will notice if you stick with it are subtle but powerful changes. Within a couple of weeks, many men report better posture, improved stamina, less soreness, and this is the big one, a return of confidence. Because let's be honest, what's the point of supplements, workouts, and diets if they don't make you feel like yourself again? The Nighttime Reset Shake works not just because it supports your muscles, but because it restores a sense of pride. When you stand taller, when you move with more energy, when you look in the mirror and see progress, you start to feel like the man you used to be. And that feeling is priceless. Gentlemen, I can tell you about the science all day long, but the real proof is in the lives of the men I've seen transformed. And that brings me to a story I want to share with you, a man named George, who at 75 thought his best days were behind him until he discovered this simple reset button. But before I tell you George's story, I need to pause for just a moment. If you've gotten value out of what I've shared so far, if this is striking a chord with you, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. Go ahead and share this video with a friend who might need it too. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next set of strategies I'll be sharing just for men like you. It really helps me keep creating content that matters for this community. All right, let's get back to George. Now let me tell you about George. I'll never forget the day he walked into my office. George was 75 years old and he looked every bit of it. His shoulders were hunched, his steps were slow, and the first thing I noticed was the sadness in his eyes. Not the kind of sadness that comes from pain, but the kind that comes from losing something you can't get back. George had recently gone through major surgery, and the recovery had taken a toll on him. He'd been bedridden for weeks, maybe months, and in that time he'd lost a significant amount of muscle mass. When he finally started moving again, he felt like a shell of the man he once was. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm fading away. I can't get out of a chair without struggling. I can't lift things around the house. Even walking across the room feels like work. I don't feel like me anymore." That hit me hard because I could see he wasn't just talking about his body, he was talking about his identity. George was a proud man. He'd worked his whole life, raised a family, and been the kind of person others could count on. But now he felt disconnected from that version of himself. And honestly, he was scared. I sat across from him and I said, "George, you're not done yet. You may feel weak now, but your body still has the power to rebuild. You just need to give it the right tools. Let's try something simple." I introduced him to the Nighttime Reset Shake. I wrote down the recipe for him: 1 scoop of whey protein, isolate, 1 scoop of collagen peptides, 3 grams of leucine, 8 ounces of almond milk, and a pinch of cinnamon if he wanted to add some flavor. I explained how it works while he slept. His body would get the raw materials it needed to rebuild muscle, restore circulation, and start the healing process. I told him not to expect overnight miracles, but to give it at least a few weeks. Consistency, I said, was the key. George nodded, but I could tell he was skeptical. And who could blame him? He'd tried other things before and been disappointed. But he agreed to give it a shot. 3 weeks later, George came back. And I swear to you, I almost didn't recognize him when he walked through the door. Yes, his hair was still gray, and his face still carried the lines of age. But his posture was different. He was standing straighter. He moved with more energy. And when he smiled, it was the kind of smile that comes from deep inside, the kind of smile of a man who's proud of himself again. He said, "Doc, I'm rebuilding. Not just my muscle, but my confidence. I can get up from a chair without groaning. I can walk around the block again. I feel like myself." That right there is why I believe so strongly in this reset button, because it's not just about science and it's not just about nutrients. It's about what happens to a man when he starts to believe again, when he starts to see results and feels like his body is working with him instead of against him. George's story is not unique. I've seen this transformation again and again in men who thought their best days were behind them. They thought muscle loss, fatigue, and decline were just part of aging. But with the right approach, simple, consistent, and science-backed, they turn things around. And here's what I want you to take away. If George could do it at 75, you can do it too. Whether you're 65, 70, or 80, your body is still capable of more than you think. Now let me pause for just a moment because if George's story resonated with you, if you've ever felt like him looking in the mirror and not recognizing the man staring back, I want you to do something right now. Hit the like button on this video, share it with a friend who might need to hear George's story, leave a comment down below, and tell me what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now with your health. Is it muscle loss? Is it low energy? Is it your confidence? I read every single comment, and it helps me know what topics to cover in future videos. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell. That way you'll never miss out on practical strategies designed just for men like you. All right, back to our journey. So far, we've talked about the problem why men lose strength and energy after 65. We've talked about the solution, the nighttime reset shake, and we've seen how it helped George rebuild his body and his spirit. But before you rush off to blend your first shake, there's something else you need to know. Because even with the right tools, a lot of men still struggle. And the reason is simple. They're making one common mistake without even realizing it. Let's talk about that next. Gentlemen, let's be honest. Even with the right tools, the right shake, the right plan, many men still don't see results. And it's not because they're lazy or because they're doing nothing. It's because they're making one or more common mistakes that sabotage their progress. Let's dig into those because if you can avoid these traps, you'll see results faster and more consistently. Mistake number 1, believing that sleep alone is enough. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this, doc, I sleep 8 hours a night. Isn't that enough for recovery? Well, yes and no. Sleep is critical, you need it. But sleep is like a construction shift. Imagine a team of workers showing up to repair a building overnight. They're skilled, they're ready, they're motivated. But when they arrive, the supply room is empty. No bricks, no cement, no tools. How much work are they going to get done? Almost nothing. That's exactly what happens in your body. The repair crew shows up during deep sleep. They're ready to fix muscle fibers, rebalance hormones, and rebuild blood vessels. But if there are no raw materials, they can't do much. Sleep alone doesn't rebuild muscle, it just provides the window. You've got to stock the shelves before the crew arrives. That's why timing your nutrition before bed is so powerful. Mistake number 2, overloading on daytime supplements while neglecting nighttime recovery. I see this all the time. Men take multivitamins in the morning, swallow handfuls of pills at lunch, and maybe throw in some protein after the gym. And look, I'm not saying that's wrong. Those things can help. But the problem is most of those nutrients get used up during the day. They're fueling your activity, not your recovery. Think of it like putting gas in your car and then immediately driving across town. The gas gets used up right away. By the time you park it in the garage at night, the tank is empty again. If you don't refill it, there's nothing left for the tune-up. The nighttime reset shake is like topping off the tank right before parking the car. That way, the mechanic inside your body has fuel to work with while you rest. Mistake number 3, relying on only one piece of the puzzle. Some men think all I need is protein. And don't get me wrong, protein is essential. But if that's all you're doing, you're missing 2/3 of the formula. Without collagen, your joints, ligaments, and blood vessels are still breaking down. Without leucine, your muscle-building switch never flips on. It's like trying to build a house with just wood and no nails, no concrete. The materials are there, but the structure never comes together. I've had men tell me I've been drinking whey protein shakes for years, and I still can't gain muscle. Well, of course, they've been supplying the bricks but not the mortar. The building never holds. Once they add collagen and leucine, suddenly the body knows exactly what to do. Mistake number 4, expecting overnight miracles. We live in a quick fix culture. Pop a pill, see results. Follow a fad diet, drop 10 pounds in a week. But here's the truth, the human body doesn't work that way, especially not after 65. Building strength and restoring energy takes time. Think about it. You didn't lose your muscle overnight. It slipped away slowly over months and years. So why would it all come back in a week? The process takes consistency. I tell my patients, give it at least 3 weeks before you expect to notice changes. In those first few weeks, the progress is happening inside your body better, circulation, improved tissue repair, hormone balance. You may not see it in the mirror yet, but it's there. Stick with it, and the visible results will follow. Mistake number 5. Giving up too soon. This one breaks my heart. A man starts strong. He follows the plan for a week or two, then says, "I don't feel different yet," and quits. That's like planting seeds in your garden and then digging them up a week later because you don't see tomatoes yet. The truth is, those seeds need time. They need watering, sunlight, patience. And so does your body. George didn't see big changes overnight, but after 3 weeks, he noticed his posture improving. After a month, his stamina was better. After 2 months, his confidence was back. That's the timeline we're talking about, not days, but weeks and months of steady progress. Mistake number 6, accepting decline as just aging. This one is the most dangerous of all. Too many men throw in the towel because they think weakness, fatigue, and decline are inevitable. They say, well, that's just old age. No, aging is natural, yes, but decline is not inevitable. There's a huge difference between growing older and giving up. Think about it. We've all seen 80-year-olds who can still hike, swim, or lift weights. We've seen 70-year-olds with more energy than men half their age. They're not superhuman. They've just refused to accept decline. They've taken steps like the nighttime reset shake to give their bodies what they need. And here's the reality: your body is listening to you. If you tell it we're done, it'll stop trying. But if you feed it the right materials, if you give it the chance to recover, it will respond. It will rebuild. Gentlemen, I don't want you falling into these traps. Don't assume sleep is enough. Don't overload on daytime supplements while neglecting nighttime recovery. Don't rely on only one ingredient. Don't expect overnight miracles. Don't quit too soon. And most importantly, don't accept decline as your destiny. Because the truth is, your body has more potential than you think. And here's the beauty: when you avoid these mistakes and start fueling your body the right way, things begin to change. You wake up with more energy. You stand a little taller. You move with more ease. And inside, something even bigger shifts. You start to believe again. You start to trust that you can still live with strength, purpose, and pride. That's the power of doing it right. Gentlemen, we've covered a lot today, so let's take a moment to pull it all together and focus on what really matters. First, let's remember the reality. After 65, the body changes. Muscle mass decreases, hormones dip, energy declines, recovery slows down. That's the truth. But the bigger truth, the one that matters more, is that decline is not inevitable. Weakness, fatigue, and loss of confidence don't have to define this chapter of your life. Your body is still capable of rebuilding. It's still capable of restoring strength. It's still capable of giving you the energy and vitality you need to live life on your terms. What it requires is the right kind of support. Second, we've seen where most men go wrong. They rely on sleep alone, forgetting that the repair crew needs materials. They overload on daytime supplements, but neglect the nighttime window. They stick to protein alone and ignore collagen and leucine. They expect overnight miracles, or they give up too soon. Worst of all, they accept decline as their destiny. But you're not going to fall into those traps because now you know better. Third, we've talked about the solution. The nighttime reset shake. 3 simple ingredients: whey protein, isolate collagen peptides, and leucine. Mixed with unsweetened almond milk, maybe a dash of cinnamon for flavor. That's it. Simple, accessible, and incredibly powerful when time before bed. Why does it work? Because it aligns with your biology. While you sleep, your body's already in repair mode. The shake provides the raw materials right when they're needed most. Protein to rebuild muscle, collagen to support joints, skin, and blood vessels. Leucine to flip the muscle-building switch back on. It's not complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require a gym membership or a radical lifestyle change. It's one small, consistent action that sets the stage for your body to do what it's designed to do: repair and rebuild. And finally, we've seen proof. George's story. 75 years old, weak and discouraged after surgery, convinced he'd lost himself. And then with patience and consistency, he found his way back. His posture improved. His stamina returned. But most importantly, his confidence came roaring back. That's the power of this approach: not just physical transformation, but emotional restoration. So here's the key message I want you to hold on to. It's never too late to reset. Not at 65, not at 70, not even at 75 or beyond. Your body still wants to heal. It still wants to rebuild. You just have to give it the chance. Think about what that means for your life. Imagine waking up with energy instead of exhaustion. Imagine standing tall instead of hunched. Imagine playing with your grandkids without getting winded. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing strength staring back. That's not a dream. That's not reserved for younger men. That's possible for you right now. And let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about muscles or energy. It's about identity. It's about pride. It's about being the man you know you are regardless of age. Too many men let age strip that away from them. They let weakness and fatigue convince them they're less than they used to be. But I'm telling you, your strength, your vitality, your confidence, they're still in you. They're not gone. They're just waiting to be reawakened. When you take that shake before bed, you're not just fueling your body, you're sending yourself a message. You're saying, I'm not done, I'm not giving up, I'm investing in myself. That mindset alone can transform your life because it shifts you from surrender to action, from decline to progress. Now let's make this practical. Here's what I recommend. Get the ingredients. Whey protein, isolate collagen peptides, leucine. You can find these at most health stores or online. Don't overcomplicate it. Stick with the basics. Make it a routine. Every night about 30 minutes before bed, mix your shake. 8 ounces of unsweetened almond milk, 1 scoop whey, 1 scoop collagen, 3 grams, leucine pinch of cinnamon if you like. Stay consistent. Do it every night, not just once in a while. Remember, progress comes with time. Track how you feel. Notice your posture. Notice your energy when you wake up. Notice how you move during the day. Celebrate small wins, they add up. Pair it with healthy habits. Keep moving during the day. Walk, stretch, lift light weights if you can. Eat balanced meals. But don't stress, let the shake do the heavy lifting while you sleep. That's it, no gimmicks, no complexity, just a simple system that works with your body's natural rhythm. Gentlemen, I want you to take this seriously, because the difference between doing nothing and doing this one simple thing can be the difference between decline and growth, between fading away and standing tall, between feeling like you're done and knowing you still have so much more to give. And remember this, you don't have to do it alone. There's a whole community of men just like you, men who refuse to settle, men who want more out of life, men who are pressing the reset button and rebuilding themselves. Join us. Share your journey. Encourage each other, because together we can change what it means to age. So let me ask you again, are you going to let age define you, or are you going to define your age? Are you going to surrender to decline, or are you going to reset and rebuild? Gentlemen, we've been on a journey together in this video. We started by acknowledging the hard truth that after 65, our bodies change. We talked about the frustration of muscle loss, the drain of low energy, and the quiet pain of losing confidence. We explored the science of recovery and discovered the reset button that can help turn things around, the nighttime reset shake. We saw George's story, a living example of what's possible even at 75. We broke down the mistakes that keep men stuck, and we recapped the keys to building strength, energy, and pride again. Now, as we close, I want to leave you with something more than information. I want to leave you with conviction, because here's the truth, you are not finished. Your story is not over. Your best days don't have to be behind you, they can still be ahead. I've seen too many men surrender to the idea that aging equals decline. They sit back, accept weakness, accept fatigue, accept the fading of who they are. But you don't have to be one of them. You can be the man who fights back, not with stubborn denial, but with smart, intentional action. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require massive lifestyle changes or expensive programs. It's as simple as a single choice you make every night before bed. A choice to fuel your body, a choice to work with your biology, a choice to reset. So let me paint you a picture. Imagine 6 months from now, you're getting out of bed in the morning, and instead of groaning and stretching with stiffness, you stand tall. Your muscles feel stronger. Your energy is steady. You walk into the kitchen and your family notices the spring in your step. Maybe you bend down to pick up your grandchild and lift them easily into your arms. Maybe you join a neighbor for a walk and find yourself keeping pace without struggling. Maybe you look in the mirror and see not just an older man, but a strong man, a proud man, a man who's still fully alive. That's the future waiting for you if you choose it. So here's my challenge. Don't let this just be another video you watch and forget. Take action. Tonight, get the ingredients, make the shake, start the habit, because every day you wait is another day of fading, and every day you act is another step toward rebuilding. Now, before we wrap up completely, I want to ask for your help. If this video has given you hope, if it's lit a spark inside, you do me a favor, hit the like button right now. It takes just a second, but it tells me you found this valuable. And it helps YouTube share this video with other men who desperately need to hear it. Next, share this video. Maybe there's a brother, a friend, or a neighbor who's quietly struggling the way George once was. Maybe they've lost muscle, lost energy, lost confidence. Sharing this could give them the reset they've been waiting for. And finally, don't leave without subscribing to this channel and turning on notifications. Because this video is just the beginning, I've got more science-based strategies, practical tools, and inspiring stories to share. Each one designed for men like you, men who refuse to let age define them, men who are ready to rebuild, men who are determined to live with strength and confidence at every stage of life. Gentlemen, let's make a pact right here, right now. Let's reject the myth that aging equals decline. Let's embrace the truth that with the right tools, the right mindset, and the right consistency, we can age with power, with pride, and with purpose. So tonight, when you stand in your kitchen mixing that shake, remember it's more than a drink. It's a statement, a declaration, a promise to yourself that you're not done, that you're still building, still growing, still living fully. This is your reset. Now go press that button.